Good afternoon, everyone. Our today's topic is thyristor construction and working. See the construction of the thyristor. It is a four-layer three-junction device. Here, this is the symbol of the thyristor. Thyristor has a three terminals: anode, cathode, and gate. This is the cross section of the PNPN structure. It has alternate layer of P and PN. So here the N layer is notched into this last P layer, and this makes the gate cathode terminal, and in this P layer means gate terminal is provided near to the cathode in the P layer, this P layer. So gate terminal is bring out from this P layer. We can split the thyristor into two sections or into two transistors. One is if I cut down this layer from this point. From this point, if I cut down this thyristor construction, we can get two transistors. PN is the one transistor and PNP is the another transistor. So this shows the split section of NPN and PNP transistor. We can say that the thyristor can be made up by connecting two transistors. One is NPN and another is PNP. This is the actual view of thyristor. It is looks like that. This is the cathode, anode and gate terminal, and this hole is provided to install the thyristor in a PCB plate. Now we will discuss few basic information of thyristor. First, in earlier I told you thyristor is a four-layer three-junction semiconductor device of alternating P and N material. Means these form 1, 2, 3, 4. This is called the four layers. Three junctions. When we connect these four layers, it created three junctions: J1, J2 and J3. The word thyristor is derived from two words, thyratron and trans. If we take THYR from thyratron and ISTOR from transistor, it combinedly make the word thyristor. Hence, thyristor is a solid state device like a transistor and has a characteristic similar to that of thyristor. Thyristor works as a switch which has two states, on and off. Thyristor works as a switch. It has only two states. It can be on condition or it can be a, and it's both the states are stable states. That's why thyristor is called a switching device. Thyristor is also called a silicon controlled rectifier. The short form of silicon controlled rectifier is SCR. SCR, S is stand for silicon because the thyristor is made up of semiconductor materials, P type material and N type material, which is mainly we used silicon as a semiconductor, and it is also a control device. Control device means it can be the output waveform of this rectifier can be controlled at any angle of the input waveform. That's why this is known as a controlled rectifier. I draw simply by this pen a sine wave. It is not a proper, but just for example, this point is 0 point, this is 180, this point is 90 degree. So by using a gate terminal, here the gate terminal play the vital role, means through this gate terminal we can turn on the thyristor at any point of this input waveform. If you applied the gate signal at this point, the thyristor will turn on and you will get the output waveform like this. If you turn on the thyristor at this point of the input waveform, you will get the output of this much only. If you turn on the thyristor at this stage, let us suppose this is a 150 degree, so you will get the output of this much only. That's why this device is told as a control device, and it is also perform the function of rectifier. Means what is rectifier? Rectifier is a device which converts AC into DC or which gives the unidirectional operation. It has a highest power handling capability. Let's take example. The rating of the thyristor can be up to 1200 volt or it can handle 1500 ampere current through it. It can also operate it on the switching frequency. We can get 1 kilohertz to 20. We can divide the operation of the thyristor in these four states: reverse blocking mode, reverse conduction mode, forward blocking mode and forward conduction mode. As I told you, the control terminal called the gate is attached to p-type material near to the cathode. We always provide the gate terminal near to the cathode terminal. This is the cross section of the thyristor. In this figure, approximate doping density in number per cubic centimeter are indicated for all the four layers. For example, P1 layer, this is the P1 layer. P1 layer, the doping density is 10 to the power 19 per cubic centimeter. For semiconductor devices, it should be, you have to be very particular that junction with lightly doped layers requires large breakdown voltage and junction with highly doped layers on both sides requires low breakdown voltage. So when the thyristor is in forward blocking state, junction J1 and junction J3 both are in forward bias, whereas junction J2 is in reverse bias. So as a layer N1 is lightly doped, N1 is lightly doped around the junction J2, depletion region of the J2 extend mainly into N layer. That's why the width of this N1 layer is large, because it has to withstand the high voltage during forward. When this thyristor is connected in reverse bias, junction J1 and junction J3 both are in reverse bias and junction J2 is in. So layer N1 being lightly doped as compared to the P1, and junction J1 has larger breakdown voltage. As consequence, during the reverse blocking of thyristor, junction J1 supports most of the reverse voltage and layer N1 absorb most of the voltage during forward blocking mode and also during the reverse blocking mode of thyristor. Okay. So this is the basic structure of thyristor, where I have shown the width layer of the thyristor also, like 10 micrometer, 30 to 100 micrometer and all. And these are the doping levels of the layers. Here this is the J1 junction, J2 junction and J3 junction. Here we provide the anode terminal, cathode terminal, gate terminal, cathode terminal. As I told you in the earlier slide that this N layer is notched into the P layer. So when we we divide this N layer into two parts and we join these two terminals and make the cathode terminal. So this is the basic cross-sectional structure of the. Let us discuss the IV characteristic of thyristor. The operation of the operation of the thyristor can be divided into these three parts: reverse blocking region, forward blocking region, forward conduction region. But I have included one more part is reverse avalanche region. So what are these regions? How the thyristor conducts in this region? So as we discussed the construction of the thyristor, here there are four layers PN, PN and three junctions J1, J2 and J3. This we seen in the last slide. Now see what is reverse blocking region. When we connect the thyristor into the reverse bias means when we connect the P terminal to the negative terminal of the battery P side and N side to the positive terminal of the battery. So this is the reverse bias as we studied in the earlier classes. So when we connect the thyristor in reverse bias, thyristor will not turn on or thyristor will not operate because thyristor is a unidirectional device and it is not operated in the reverse bias. So this region which is I am highlighting in the characteristic, this region is a reverse blocking region from point O to this point R, and this voltage is a reverse breakover voltage. When we increase the reverse voltage across the thyristor, there is no change in the circuit. Thyristor will not operate. So this region is called a reverse blocking region, means thyristor is connected in reverse bias but not operating or nothing is happening in the thyristor. That's why this region is called reverse blocking region. But at a certain level, after a certain limit, the thyristor will break down, and this breakdown is called reverse avalanche breakdown, and the current will increase abruptly like this. And thyristor may be damaged, the layers may be burned out, so we never operate the thyristor in reverse bias. Thyristor never operate in reverse region. And when thyristor is connected in any circuit, we ensure that the maximum working reverse voltage should not be exceed or should not be above this VBR level. Now let's discuss the forward blocking region. In forward blocking region, here also we connect the thyristor in forward bias, means the P layer is connected to the positive terminal of the battery and N layer is connected with negative terminal of the battery. So we can say the thyristor in a forward bias. But when we increase the forward voltage across the SCR, there is no operation or no on. Thyristor will not operate when we connect in a forward bias, but we are not applying a certain level of voltage across the thyristor will not operate. So in this region from 0 to this F portion, thyristor is connected in the forward bias but not conducting. So this region is called forward blocking region or forward blocking mode. This is also a off state of the thyristor, and we have not applied any gate voltage or any gate current across the gate to cathode circuit. So this is the condition for a turn on the thyristor to increase the forward voltage up to the VBF. 0 to F there is no conduction, but after a certain level, that is VBF, reverse forward breakover voltage, after this voltage thyristor comes into the on condition, thyristor turned on, and this portion, when you study in the book, this portion is always shown as a dotted line. This stage is never exist in the circuit as we apply the forward voltage across the thyristor gets into the forward conduction mode and it starts conducting. So from this point 0 to VBF, no conduction take place, thyristor is connected in forward bias, but there is no conduction and thyristor is in off stage. But as we increase the voltage above this breakover voltage, thyristor gets into the on stage and thyristor will start conducting. So this shows the forward conduction reason, and as I earlier told you, thyristor works as a switch. If I represent this is the switch, so when switch is on, when switch is off, switch is in the off condition, there is no current in the circuit. It is open circuit. It works as a open switch and only voltage is applied, like reverse voltage or forward voltage we applied across this switch. But when it attains the on stage, means switch is, when we close the switch, this is the on stage of the thyristor, means in on state thyristor will work as a closed switch. So at this point no voltage across the thyristor, only current will increase through the thyristor. Okay, I will explain two terms which we usually used for the thyristor. One is latching current and another is holding current. Latching current is the current which is required to turn on the thyristor. Like if we apply the gate signal at the gate terminal and increase the anode current, so thyristor will turn on at a particular level or at a particular current. So this current, this minimum current at which the thyristor latched from off state to on state is called the latching current. We can say the minimum required anode current to turn on the thyristor is called the latching current, and this current is required after the gate signal removed. If we it is the property of the thyristor that if we apply the gate current, thyristor will turn on, and after a particular time when thyristor gets from off state to on state, if we remove the gate signal, thyristor will not turn off, because after the conduction mode, gate loses its control. If we remove the gate terminal or we remove the gate signal, thyristor will continue in the on state. So this is the latching current. If we apply the anode current and we also apply the gate circuitry, we also apply the gate current, and after a certain period of time we remove the gate current, the thyristor, it is also possible that thyristor is not properly turned on, and if we remove the gate circuit, the thyristor will not turn on. So it required a minimum anode current to maintain the on position of the thyristor after the removal of the gate circuitry. So latching current is the minimum anode current which is required to maintain the on state of the thyristor after removing the gate signal. So latching current is always defined at the time when thyristor latched from off state to on state. So we can say that latching current is associated with the on process of the thyristor. But once the thyristor gets turned on, gate loses its control. So for turn off the thyristor, because We have turned on the thyristor. Now we have to turn off the thyristor. If it is required to turn off the thyristor, what will we do? We will reduce the anode current at a particular level, after which thyristor gets turned off. So here at this point, when we require to turn off the thyristor, we define the holding current. After this level of time, after this level of anode current, thyristor will turn off after this level. I mean to say, if I am reducing the anode current and I reach to this IH, and after this IH thyristor will turn off. So this is the current which ensure that which holds the thyristor on position, and after this point thyristor will turn off. So this is the minimum anode current after which thyristor gets into the off state, and this current we define at the time of turn off. So holding current is associated with the off process of the thyristor. This is the detailed characteristic in which I have included the intensity of the gate current also. So this point A, let us consider this is the O point. From this O to this VBO, this VBO is what? It is a forward breakover voltage. Thyristor is connected in forward bias, but up to this point it is called a forward blocking mode. But and at this point Ig is 0. So if we want to turn on the thyristor without gate current, we need to apply a voltage up to this breakover voltage, so the thyristor turn on at this point. But if we increase the gate current, let us suppose Ig1 is the gate current we apply at the gate terminal. So thyristor will turn on this position. Means this characteristic, we will not get this characteristic, we will get this much curve. So thyristor will not turn on this VBO, it will turn on before the VBO. And as we increase more gate current, if we apply Ig2 current which is greater than the Ig1, so thyristor will turn on this point, means before the VBO. Again, if we increase more gate current, let us suppose Ig3 which is greater than Ig2, so thyristor will turn on this stage. So see, we no need to increase the forward breakover voltage up to this level to turn on the thyristor if we apply the gate current at the gate terminal. Got it? This is the circuitry through which you can get this characteristic. Thank you everyone.